Hi, Susan Gregory here. I am so glad you're taking the time to learn more about the Daniel fast. I sometimes hear from men and women who couldn't fulfill their fast, and the primary reason is that they didn't prepare by first learning about this powerful method of fasting, and instead just leaped in before they were ready. Sadly, they missed out on what can be a life-changing experience. So you are showing your wisdom in learning about the Daniel fast as part of your preparation, and I commend you for that. I want to give you a very brief overview of the Daniel fast, but first, one word of advice. Clearly, we all know that during the Daniel fast we will eat differently. But a huge mistake I see happening among those fasting is that they put way too much emphasis on the food, so it becomes the biggest part of the fast. The scripture calls that being carnally minded and immature. That's not what you want for yourself. Sure, we need to pay attention to the food. We need to make plans and use recipes that are different than those that we commonly make. But fasting is restricting food for a spiritual purpose. And that purpose is to draw closer to God, to learn more about His ways, and to tap into the amazing power and benefits that you and I have because we are His children. That should be our emphasis. So be sure to guard your heart and don't let the food and the recipes and all that take over the essence of the fast. Otherwise, we're just changing the way we eat for a period of time, which is really nothing more than a temporary diet. Now, the Daniel fast is based on the fasting experiences of the Old Testament prophet Daniel. He and his Hebrew companions were in captivity in Babylon and were being groomed to carry out important jobs for King Nebuchadnezzar. Keep in mind that Daniel and his friends had been brought up in the Jewish traditions and had a deep reverence for the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so when one of the king's servants served Daniel the same food that they had given to the king, Daniel didn't want to defile his body by eating it. He had dedicated himself to the Lord, and he knew the food being offered had not been prepared using the strict Jewish standards. Plus, it had already been sacrificed to the false gods of Babylon. So Daniel asked, "Prove thy servants, I beseech thee, for 10 days, and let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink." We find that in Daniel 1:12. Pulse is food grown from seed, so the Daniel fast is totally plant-based and centers around fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. We also see in this verse that the only beverage is water, so you can use juice and unsweetened plant-based milks in recipes or on cereal, but the only beverage on the Daniel fast is water. No tea, no coffee. If it's a beverage, it must be water to comply with the scripture. Later, at another time when the prophet fasted, we gained the second set of restrictions that form the Daniel fast. Daniel was in a consecrated period of prayer and fasting as he sought the Lord's revelation for the future of Israel. In Daniel 10:3, we read his words, "I ate no pleasant food, no meat or wine came into my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled." Other translations say that he ate no bread, which is consistent with typical Jewish fasting principles. So the foods you can eat are fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, and healthy oils. Foods to be avoided are meat, dairy, sweeteners, caffeine, and processed and deep-fried foods. We also avoid man-made chemicals and preservatives. Now, you'll find a more detailed list on the Daniel Fast website, and that link is below. So as you begin your preparation for the Daniel Fast, I send my very best blessings to you for your time of prayer and fasting. I've communicated with tens of thousands of men and women around the world about the Daniel Fast. I've heard their testimonies of amazing blessings and spiritual growth during their fast, and I hope the same awesome results for you. Be blessed, and let's join our voices and continue to praise our loving Father for His amazing grace and abundant care. Bye for now.